Good morning, everyone. I hope your semester is ending well. We only have a few more weeks, so today I'm going to go over the portfolio requirements and just making sure that you have everything together as you're putting your revisions for draft 2 of the memo to pass self together. So, we'll just get started right away. As usual, so I'd also like to note that I've shifted a lot of where I comment in the discussion forum because you all have built up this rapport with each other in there, and there's been some great conversations going on about things you've learned when you're addressing the learning outcomes and bringing up different assignments. I've moved a lot of my comments just to the submission of your grade. So when I grade the discussion forum, I put some notes in the comment box. So if you haven't been checking those, do check that because I have feedback in there for you. And so to go along with that, I've been really impressed with how you are writing about the learning outcomes in the discussion forum. So I'm really looking forward to reading the memo to pass self because you've already been practicing writing specific things about what you've learned and even connecting all the learning outcomes together. So this is a really great sign for the portfolio. For this week, the discussion forum questions and memo to pass self draft 2 are all due on Sunday. If you submit draft 2 of the memo to pass self by Thursday at 11:59 p.m., you'll get 5 extra credit points. But otherwise, you can turn it in by Sunday without any sort of grade penalty. And this is to give you, it gives you a little extra buffer. So keep that in mind that it can be turned in by the 17th. And yeah, you have that. And then I will get those back to you the week of the 19th. Another note, make sure you are turning that in, by Sunday. The portfolio is due on April 28th, so in order for me to get you that feedback quickly, you need to have it turned in by the due date. That'll make it easier for everyone, and you have time to revise that document as well. But of course, there's nothing stopping you at this point from working on revision on your rhetorical analysis document, and the critical reviews are going to be completely done and returned to everyone that's submitted by Tuesday evening, so you can start revising that as well. Let's see. Oh, so you have just one question that you have to post in the discussion forum this week. Your question is, what question do you have regarding the RIT 200 portfolio? And before doing that, read Tae-Joon Park's article that's only 2 pages long. It's in the files directory, but it gives just a really quick, it's essentially a literature review of why portfolios are assigned rather than one new final essay. So if you're familiar with Blue Book essays, we don't do that. We do a holistic, let's look at your drafts from beginning to end and see how you've applied the writing process. On that note, let's go over the RIT 200 portfolio assignment sheet. It's already in not the discussion forum, it's already attached in the assignment section of Sakai. So right now you should pull that up on your computer or have it printed off so you can write notes. it represents your entire growth throughout the semester. Um, so each assignment started with that small idea that you had and possibly started free writing or started doing a web, uh, brainstorming, and now you've turned in for almost every assignment. That second draft, you've turned in a first draft for everything, but you're starting to polish those third drafts. Use all of the previous assignment sheets to revise your documents. I'm still looking for the same things in each document, but more polished. So everything should be a revised, polished version, but the other requirements are exactly the same. So they are worth more points now because of the revision. So the literacy narrative draft 3 is 150 points. Your critical review is worth 150 points. And then your revised memo to pass self is worth 200. And this document's worth a little bit more because it's the first, as you can see in the assignment details, it's the first assignment that shows up, and you are telling your reader what you have learned. So it's worth more because you are not only showing that you can write clearly and you understand the textual conventions for this assignment and you understand the rhetorical situation, but you're giving specific examples as to how you met the learning outcomes. And then I read, another instructor reads the portfolio, and as we read your literacy narrative and your critical review, it's very clear to us that, yes, here's everything that you wrote about in your memo to pass self. Fantastic. So keep that in mind for your portfolio. I have a checklist for the exact order that you submit it, and it should all be in one document. So if this is something that makes you nervous, there are some people, file management is no big deal, but if you are someone that needs extra time to prepare your files, give yourself that time. Maybe start dragging and dropping your files into one document. For example, you can put most of your draft 2s already in the document, and you can take that RIT 200 portfolio submission checklist and put it at the beginning of the document. That is the second page of the assignment sheet, and it's actually in your syllabus too, but it's called RIT 200 portfolio submission checklist, and you fill in your last name, your first name, your ID number, and then you electronically sign it, and you initial for all 3 of the documents once they're in there that indeed they are in there. But as you're working on your portfolio, address the questions that I put in the margins of the feedback you've received. So you may have to, for example, free write on some of the questions because it's not an easy, should there be a period here or not? But it's more a bigger question about your organization or about how you're explaining the sources in your critical review. So be very, give yourself time to work on this. You can start now. There's still about 3 weeks, so that's a good amount of time. But don't wait until the last minute. So something you can do is make a schedule for yourself for how you'll revise. Maybe you used to do a lot of your prep for the discussion forum, on, let's say, Wednesday afternoon. So instead of using that time to do the reading or the prep for the discussion forum, you're revising your literacy narrative. Things like that. You can make a schedule for yourself, and then it's much easier to manage what has to be done, because it can feel like a lot of time, but then all of a sudden it becomes much less time. So just manage where you are in the semester. That's all I have for this week. If you have any questions, as always, please email me. Next week you're going to have meetings, which can be virtual, phone, or in person. But think about that. Think about what question you might have for me in addition to the one you're posting in the discussion forum this week. All right, have a great week.